Okay, perfect. Okay. Welcome everyone that could be here right now, but also if anyone watches this back. We're gonna be talking about renting versus buying in 2026. So if now is the right time or if it's better for you and your personal timeline just to wait based on a couple factors that we'll go over. So I gotta go over to this screen. Okay. My name is Kylie Hawks. I'm a realtor. I work with Cornerstone Real Estate. That's my brokerage. I was raised in Mountain Green, Utah. My husband and I actually just moved back here in November. So we've been loving being back in our hometown. But I studied marketing at Utah State University, and I love to do anything outside, interior design, and food.
Yes, and I'm Nick Sava. I'm the mortgage loan officer here. I'm with Direct Rate Home Loans, born and raised North Salt Lake, studied finance in high school and college. I love golfing. I love to lift weights, being active, being outside, shooting guns. That's also kind of fun hobby. But yeah, Utah's my hometown.
Perfect. Okay, so some of you might be here and listening to this because these are questions that you also have, but as Nick and I are in this business and we're talking to buyers or sellers out there, these are common questions we hear all the time. So is it realistic for me to buy right now? How much money do I actually need to have saved up to be able to buy a house? Should I wait for interest rates to drop? Where do I even start? And then can I actually afford a payment with my income? So those are some things we're kind of going to tackle today. And then if you have any others at the end, we'll do some questions as well.
Yes. And then the truth about the market right now. So rates are a lot higher, not a lot, but a bit higher than a few years ago. Prices have continued to rise. So people who have gotten in kind of earlier have been making a lot of equity. Rent is also another huge factor. Rent's increasing across, the entire nation, especially here in Utah. So the real question is now perfect. It's does buying make sense for you right now? And the market again still heating up. People are leaving their 3% interest rates since they have to move anyways, whether it's for work, relocating for the military, or maybe family. They want to be close to family. So whether you're a second-time buyer, first-time home buyer, it's always better to, you might have heard this before, date the rate and marry the home. You can always refinance. Rates will come down soon enough. We don't know exactly when that will be, but there's going to be a time where rates will come down later on. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so like Nick was saying, prices have increased over time, gone up. So you can see back in 1996, home prices were $116,000. That was the average price, which is crazy to think about now. As we are up here at $512,000 last year was the median home price. So it's interesting to see the trend over time, but it's also interesting to remember that if you are one of those lucky people who own a home, it's going to appreciate over time, especially in Utah. There's only been a couple times where it's dipped a little bit, but you can see it's always going up slowly, but it is going up. So it's one of those investments that's going to pay off in the end.
Yep. Kylie's absolutely right. Here are the real world numbers. So these payments, they are similar. One builds equity and one doesn't, as you saw with those previous numbers on that previous slide. So on the left side, you have your rental here. So this is a townhome, pretty much the same area, Ogden. You have about a $2,600 monthly rent. They're going to charge you for your pets too. So you have a $300 pet deposit, $40 per month pet rent for each pet. Yeah, I looked into this and verified that is per month for each pet. So if you have more than one, that can really add up. You also have a one-time fee to just get in there, which is that about $1,300 there. And no ownership, right? You're paying your landlord every month. You don't want to ding up the walls. You don't want to replace the carpet. You can't paint. You can't personalize it, right? You don't want it. You can't make it what you want to make it and make it look like. So right side, you have a single family home. And again, Ogden, Utah, about a $350,000 purchase price there. The minimum down. It's 3%, about $10,500 there. You can also do a 0% down program as well, but these numbers are with that 3% down conventional program. You got your private patio, private backyard, you have your driveway. I mean, it's all yours, right? This is yours. You can do what you want with it. You can build equity with home renovations, different projects. You have something to do on the weekend, something to look forward to. If you have nothing else going on, right? Home projects, they're the best. So again, comparing those numbers with everything included, you're about $2,500 per month with your mortgage payment. So that's taxes, insurance, your mortgage insurance. That's everything. So very, very comparable. And as you see with the numbers, the single family home's actually cheaper, by about $100 per month. So this is, again, you can look these addresses up. By the time people are watching this, maybe online, these might not be here, but very, very good comparison here.
Mm-hmm. I think it's so interesting to see, you know, what you could rent for the same amount of buying. So I don't know, that's helpful for me to see.
Yes.
Okay, so the biggest myths about buying a home is that you have to put 20% down. I hear this all the time. They're like, how on earth am I going to get in a home when I don't have 20% saved up to go into that house? So like Nick was saying in the last slide, you can do as little as 3% down. There are some programs where it's 0% down, 5% down, 10% down, kind of whatever you want to do there. But you do not have to have 20% down. The only benefit to having that is you're just not paying that PMI. So once you hit that 20% down, your payment's going to be a little cheaper, but just so you know, you do not have to have 20% down. Your credit also does not have to be perfect. So if you have a lower credit, then even you can apply for a credit card. Like there are ways to work around that. There's ways for Nick to advise you on how to improve your credit. I think he was just saying it was 30 days and you already were able to help someone like within those 30 days improve their credit enough to buy a home. Is that right?
Yes, correct. It
Okay.
it is a lot quicker than a lot of people think, where we can get your credit to where it needs to be. So.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, your credit does not have to be perfect. Buying is always more expensive than renting. As you can see in the last slide, it isn't always more expensive. And in the long run, it's actually going to save you more money because you are building that equity. I should wait for interest rates to drop. That is also something where it's kind of unpredictable. Like we can kind of guess where they're going to be, but at the same time, if it's the right time in your life where you need to make a move, you need to upsize, you need to downsize. Like Nick was saying, you need to relocate for a job. You don't always have to wait for the interest rates because there's other ways to work around that. And then you don't make enough money to buy. I think that's also a big myth. People feel like they have to have this huge income to be able to buy. You just need to make enough to where your monthly payment makes sense for you and where it's not going to make you house poor, as I say. So I think those are some myths to just think about, that there are solutions to them and they're not always true.
And what you actually need to buy a home. So just like Kylie said, most buyers are putting 3 to 5% down. And here in Utah, we have a great state program that allows you to put 0% down if that's something that you're wanting to do. So you can get in with 0% down. Usually you get your earnest money back with that program as well. And yeah, just like this next one says here, there's programs to help with costs. So the 0% down also helps with your closing costs. And if we can get enough seller concessions, which most of the time we do because we don't need that many, again, you get your earnest money back at the closing table. So they just write you a check. Really cool program there. You don't need everything figured out today. That's probably why you're watching this. It's probably why you're on. Just, making sure everything lines up. We're the professionals. We're here to help you out. We're here to serve. That's the best part about Kylie and I's job, is we're helping people out in our community. Like that's the biggest part, and that's our passion. So, but yeah, most people are closer than they think. It's just being knowledgeable, getting educated, and understanding where things are at with your specific situation. And again, talking with someone like me, someone like Kylie, and just helping guide you and know exactly where you stand on buying a home.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so when buying makes sense, these are just a couple reasons why or like reasons why it might make sense for you to right now. Obviously, this is based on your own personal situation, so it's going to be different for everyone. But if you're planning on staying in one area in one place for at least 2 to 3 years, it might make sense to buy. If you're going to be moving around, you're not quite sure where you want to live yet, maybe it's not going to make sense. But if your income is stable, if your rent is already high, you're already used to making payments that are up in that higher range. If you want predictable payments, if you don't want your rent to go up next month because your landlord just decided that he needs to raise it, but you want those predictable payments that are going to be the exact same every month, then buying would make sense for you. And then if you're ready for the responsibility, if you want to tear a wall down or put a wall up or build a pergola or something outside, if you want to be able to make those improvements and kind of just have that responsibility of a home, then it might make sense for you right now.
And when it might be better to wait. You plan to move soon, your income is unstable, you don't have any savings yet, you're not ready for maintenance or responsibility. Yeah, I mean, renting or staying with, parents or someone else, friend, family member. It's just those things that you got to consider. And again, talking to someone like me, someone like Kylie, is definitely your best bet, even if you think it might be better to wait. You never know.
Okay, so what are my next steps? This is what we would recommend. So if you are interested in just seeing what's right for your situation, if you just kind of want to talk over those scenarios, talk to a lender. That's what Nick does. He works with people every single day where he goes over their situations, their income, their debt, all the assets that they have, or kind of just their plan for the next couple of years. And then he helps you to create a plan. So that's the next step. Create a plan, create a timeline. If you're 1 year out, if you're 3 years out, if you're 3 months out, just creating that timeline of kind of when you should start looking for a home, if there's anything you need to work on as far as income or debt goes. That's what Nick's here for. He's here to help you do that. And then when you feel ready, we're going to start looking at houses. And that's kind of where I come in. I think it's super fun to kind of, see what your needs and wants are with homes and try to match those homes with you. But again, it's all when you feel ready, when it's right for your plan, and when you want to move forward.
Q&A. Any questions from our audience here?
Well, I have one.
Perfect.
So, I have been texting about it, Kylie. Obviously, this house that I really like in Ogden, and you mentioned the last text you sent the lease, the buyer's lease. What was that? I haven't read through that whole text yet, but I just have never heard about it.
Yes, so it's called a lease back. Basically, it means that the sellers aren't ready to move or they aren't able to move because they haven't found that home yet, or maybe they're waiting to close on that home. So if you wanted to close on the house and become the owner of the house, they would basically rent it back from you for a certain amount of time. So that's just something that's kind of like worked into the deal. Like,
okay.
Yeah. So you would still be purchasing the house and buying it, but then you would just allow them to live there a little bit longer.
Yeah. Do you think there's any like leverage when it comes to that? Do you think the people who put in offers tonight are like, hey, we're fine with that because we don't want to move yet? Or is it, I mean, it's just the first time I've ever heard about it happening. I'm like, well, I wonder if people like that it's happening, or if they use it as something to be like, well, then I'm not going to pay as much.
Right. They could use it as some leverage, just saying like, well, if you want to stay in the house, I'm going to buy it for cheaper. Or, it's kind of just up to the negotiation. It's not very common. It honestly doesn't happen very often. My broker just had this happen in one of his deals. Like they needed to stay in the house longer and they were able to negotiate that for free. So it's just like, it kind of depends on how many offers there are, what you're leveraging. But yeah, it is an interesting scenario, but in some people's cases, like for some sellers, it's exactly what they need. So it makes sense, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, I thought about it at first and I was like, well, yeah, our lease isn't up till September. So if that were to happen, that probably would work out just fine. But Joel was against the idea of it. Because he was like, well, if I buy a house, I want a house. Like, well,
Yeah, I want to
know,
move
but
in.
I want to move in. So it was just interesting that I just had never heard of somebody doing that.
Mhm.
And we talked a lot about the house today because I was really trying to convince him that I really liked it and that he should really like
Right.
it. And I think it makes me nervous thinking that people also really like it. So I
Mhm.
think I'm scared of the competitiveness that comes with buying a
Yeah.
house. Because we talked about, I mean, what you said, like 420 is a good thing to put down, and we could probably do that. But knowing that there's other offers, how does
Mhm.
somebody decide who to sell to? Because I was like, what do I need to do? I'll call them, I'll
Right.
butter them up, you know?
I'll give him some cookies or
I
anything.
saw them. I saw the family at the open
Oh,
house.
really?
They were just
Yeah.
walking around in the front, and I was like, darn it. Like, I should have gone and like introduced myself. You know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's
how
hard.
does this buyer or a seller decide?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, it's different for every seller
Yeah.
because for some people it matters. Like, I need this house to sell in a week. So
Mhm.
if you just give me a quick timeline, like, I'll probably go with you. But some people are like, I want to get the most money for my house. So if you
Right.
give me enough money to where I net the most, I'll go with you. Or in this seller's case, they kind of wanted that lease back option.
Mhm.
So if there was an offer that was submitted that didn't have that, they might just like kind of push
Oh,
it
I
to the
see.
side because they're like, I need X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if your offer doesn't have X, Y, and Z, then sorry, you're probably not on the negotiating
Yeah.
table anymore.
So I wonder if some people are offering, I mean, it's a really nice house, so I get why people are offering high, but I
Mhm.
wonder if it's because they don't want to do the lease back thing and they're saying, well, we'll just give you more money, so we'll
Mhm.
sell the house sooner. That makes
It
sense.
could be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I mean, when I walked through it, I was like, this could easily be like 460 or something. This is
Yeah,
such
it was
a house.
nice.
It's so nice. I was so mad walking
I
through.
know.
Oh, that one's
Ugh,
hard.
it's so hard. And like that price range too is kind of hard just because it's a lot
Yeah.
of first time home buyers that are like, I just want to be in a house. Like
Yeah.
if it's semi nice or, like
Mhm.
really nice, then
Mhm.
I'm gonna put an offer in. Like I just put an offer in on a house in Logan.
Mhm.
When was it? On Saturday. And they said,
Mhm.
Kate, we already have 4 offers. So we're gonna go over them on Monday at 12 and we'll let you know. But like until then, send us your highest and best.
Oh, that's so scary.
I know. And so, I mean,
Ooh.
I did the best I could for my clients. Like, they're like, well,
Yeah.
we can't go above this price, but let's do this and then do this for them because that might be something that they like.
Mhm.
And then we'll just, try our best. And we ended up
Yeah.
not getting it. But,
So
like
hard.
we could have. It just, you
Yeah.
don't know. That's the
Yeah.
hardest part.
And that's what Joel was telling me, that if we were to try to go in with an offer that was, appealing, it would probably have to be, okay, well, we're putting down whatever we decide to put down and then covering their closing costs and dealing with this renting phase. And so there's a lot of stuff that you don't think
Mhm.
about until you are up against it. And yeah, so it made me a little nervous today. I was like, oh crap. But I have seen that prices on some of the houses I've been looking at are dropping. I
Mhm.
think it's just because no one is buying them because they're
Mhm.
so high. So
Yes.
people are realizing that
Yeah.
no one can buy that house. So
Mhm.
that this one was, still expensive.
Yeah, it was up there.
But on the lower expensive side.
One thing too, like with this one, if they go under contract with someone else, I've seen it plenty of times where they go out of contract.
Yeah.
Something happens on the loan, or they're like, oh, my payment's too high, or something happens.
Yeah.
Is that back up for you to make a better offer in
A backup offer.
your terms? Yeah, like, oh, I'm not going to go up that high because you have a contract. Now you're out. Now I can get a better deal for myself. So
Yeah,
seen
it's
that.
almost like I'm wishing that something's wrong with the house, but then also I
Yeah.
don't want that, because what if I want the house?
Yeah. You're like, I want something to fail so that
Yeah, something should be wrong.
Right, yeah. Well, the nice thing too, like it feels like it's competitive, but at the same time, like that's what me and Nick are here for. Like
Yeah.
whatever your scenario is, like we were saying, if you can't spend above like this amount, like we're gonna give them our highest and best and we might lose some, but eventually there's gonna be that house where it works out and things
Yeah.
play out and we negotiated it well enough. By we, I mean like me and the other agent. Like you don't have to do that,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Oh, here. Joel's gonna hop on. Hang on.
Okay.
We're not together right now, as you can tell.
Okay. I might stop the recording too in case we
Okay.
want to talk about some other questions, but
This turned webinar to one-on-one.
I'm so